Okay, let's jump right into this. Welcome to our explainer on an absolute classic of Thai cuisine, son-in-law eggs. Look, if you're a total beginner in the kitchen, trying to get that egg perfectly gooey on the inside and crispy on the outside, yeah, it can feel a bit like defusing a bomb. But don't sweat it. Today, we're giving you the foolproof, step-by-step guide to completely mastering this flavor-packed dish on your very first try.
So here's our game plan for today. Number 1, prep ingredients. 2, the 6-minute boil. 3, the perfect peel. 4, frying. 5, tamarind sauce. And 6, plating.
All right, Section 1, prep ingredients. Take a look at this list. It's super simple, but honestly, every single item plays a huge role. Notice that very first ingredient? Duck eggs. You're probably wondering, why duck instead of regular chicken eggs? Well, our source points out that the yolk of a duck egg is this incredibly rich, bright red. It literally elevates the whole look and taste of the dish. Besides those, you're just going to need some salt, palm sugar, fish sauce, thick tamarind juice, water, dry chilies, and some sliced shallots.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 6-minute boil.
Okay, so how do we actually get that perfect gooey center? First things first, get a pot going on medium heat with water, and this is a really crucial pro trick, a dash of salt. The salt actually helps the shell detach from the egg white later on when we peel them. So once you've got a moderate boil going, and hey, make sure it's not boiling too violently, you're going to gently lower your cleaned duck eggs in so they don't crack. And pay really close attention here. Stir them constantly for the first 2 minutes. Why? Because gently keeping those eggs moving literally forces the yolk to set right in the dead center of the egg white, instead of just sinking to the bottom.
And here's the absolute most critical point of the whole process, the number 6. Exactly 6 minutes. The very second those eggs hit the water, you need to start your timer. Remember, you stir for the first 2 minutes, and then just let them boil totally undisturbed for the remaining 4. 6 minutes is the absolute gold standard to get what's called the yang matum texture in Thai. That's that flawless, soft-boiled, jammy yolk we're after. Seriously, do not guess the time on this. Use a timer.
Section 3, the perfect peel.
So the literal second your 6-minute timer goes off, cut the heat. You have to immediately transfer those eggs into a freezing cold ice water bath. And yeah, I mean literal ice cubes in water. Let them hang out in there for exactly 5 minutes. This shocks the eggs and instantly stops the cooking process dead in its tracks. If you skip this part, the leftover heat inside the egg will just keep cooking the yolk, and you'll end up with standard chalky hard-boiled eggs instead of those beautiful soft-boiled ones.
All right, let's talk about peeling, because this is where that earlier salt trick really pays off. Take a spoon and just gently tap the cooled egg all over until the shell is completely fractured. Because you added that salt during the boil, you're going to find that the shell basically just glides right off. It leaves the white perfectly smooth, beautiful, and completely intact. But hold on, the next step is something you absolutely cannot ignore. I really want to emphasize this rule from our source. Pat the eggs completely dry with a tissue to prevent hot oil splatters. Look, if you're a beginner, safety absolutely comes first here. Even the tiniest microscopic droplets of water left on that egg white will cause a literal and very dangerous oil explosion when you drop them into the frying pan. So take your time, grab a paper towel, and make sure those eggs are bone dry.
Okay, Section 4, frying. Let's get that golden, crispy exterior.
Over medium heat, carefully drop your boiled, completely dried eggs into the oil. You're going to want to keep turning them gently until the whole outside develops this gorgeous golden brown crust. Once they look good, take them out and let them drain. Next, carefully pour out a bit of that oil, drop the heat down to medium-low, and fry your sliced shallots. Now listen closely to this part. Take the shallots out of the pan while they are just golden. Do not wait for them to turn dark brown in the pan. They hold so much heat that they'll actually continue to cook even after they're out. Finally, just quickly fry your dried chilies in that remaining oil until they smell absolutely amazing.
Moving to Section 5, the tamarind sauce. This right here brilliantly illustrates exactly how authentic Thai flavor profiles are built. Look at this balance. We aren't just randomly throwing things into a pot. It's a very calculated harmony. The palm sugar goes in first to give this deep, caramel-like sweetness that leads the flavor. Then, the thick tamarind juice follows right behind it with this bright, kind of fruity sourness. And finally, the fish sauce sweeps in at the very end with a pungent saltiness that just balances the sweet and sour perfectly. It's like a flavor symphony.
To actually bring all those flavors together, you're going to take about 2 tablespoons of that insanely flavorful oil you just used to fry the shallots and add it right back to the pan along with a splash of water, your sugar, tamarind, and fish sauce. Let this simmer over medium-low heat. You're basically waiting for the sauce to become glossy and just a little bit viscous. You'll actually notice the sharp, raw smell of the tamarind completely fade away into this rich, mouth-watering aroma. And hey, keep in mind, the sauce is going to thicken up even more as it cools down.
And finally, Section 6, plating.
Now, trying to cut a soft-boiled, crispy fried egg in half without completely destroying it, that is an art form. If you just hack at it with a heavy knife, that gorgeous yolk is going to smear everywhere and you'll tear the crispy skin. So here is a mind-blowing pro tip from our source. Put the kitchen knife away. Just take a small knife and gently score a tiny line through the crispy outer skin. Then, grab a clean piece of regular old sewing thread, lay it right in that scored line, cross the ends over, and just pull. The thread slices perfectly cleanly through the delicate egg white and the gooey yolk without dragging or squishing a thing. It's magic.
Let's build this final plate. Start off by laying down a vibrant green bed of fresh coriander. Next, gently place those beautifully sliced, crispy duck egg halves right on top, showing off those bright red, jammy yolks. Now, take that glossy, complex tamarind sauce you made and just drizzle it generously all over the eggs. Finally, crown the whole thing with a handful of your crispy fried shallots and strategically place those fiery fried dried chilies around the plate. The contrast of the crispy skin, the rich sauce, the soft egg, and the crunch of those shallots, it is literally pure perfection.
By following these structured steps, even if you are an absolute beginner, you've now got the exact blueprint to create flawless son-in-law eggs. From that precise 6-minute boil to the genius thread slice trick. So the only question I have left for you is, now that you actually know the science behind the perfect soft-boiled, crispy egg, are you ever going to be able to settle for a boring, regular hard-boiled egg again? Go grab your timer, trust the process, and enjoy the incredible flavors. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and happy cooking.